Hello, my crafty friends. Thank you for joining me today. My name is Linda Edwards. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I'm going to show you how to make this fun card. As you can see, there are lots of layers. I'm using the Beautiful Butterflies stamp set, which coordinates with the Beautiful Butterflies Hybrid Embossing Folder and a set of dies. And they are all layered that way, but there's a really fun surprise here. Look at that. Isn't that cute? So that's the inside of the card. The base is just flat. You could certainly make it a full card, folding, and then you'd open it the traditional way, but I thought this was way more fun. So I'm going to show you everything you need to know to make this card. I love the colors that are used here. There's Peach Pie and Petunia Pop, a couple of the in colors this year, and they got the inspiration for the colors from the Designer Series paper. This is the Floral Charm Designer Series paper. It is a new online exclusive, and I just think it's beautiful. I've already used one sheet of this, so here's the other side. This is the piece that I used for this card, and you can see that that's where I got the inspiration for the colors. I love, love, love the colors in this paper, and I'll tell you, looking at it on the computer hardly does it justice. The back sides all have this wonderful coordinating color that can be used in so many different ways. Look at how beautiful that is, right? So, so pretty. And then here, all of these florals. I know we have a lot of florals, but I'll tell you, I love them. Every time Stampin' Up! Comes out with a new one, I just want to have it because they're so beautiful. Blackberry Bliss, just gorgeous. Anyway, all right, that was my inspiration. I typically do get my inspiration from the Designer Series paper that Stampin' Up! Creates just because some of the combinations of florals are so unexpected to me. I would never have considered putting these two together, but I just think it's stunning. So, all right, let's go ahead and get started, and I'll show you how to make this. So, if you purchased this card kit from me as a class, I do offer classes in the Greensboro, Georgia area, and also they're available online as a download. But if you purchased the card kit, this is the way your card kit will come. So I'm going to show you the card kit and also share the measurements so that if you want to just make it on your own based off the video, you can do that. So the base starts with a standard card base, 5.5 by 8.5, and it's scored at 4.25. And I am going to go ahead and just fold and burnish on the score line. That's usually the first thing I like to do, and then kind of put it out of the way so that I don't get ink all over it. And then the next layer is this Peach Pie. It kind of looks yellow on my camera to me. I don't know, but it's Peach Pie, and it is 5.25 by 4 inches. And then you'll need like a little scrap. And this is about 1 by 3 3/4. Actually, even less. This one's probably 3/4. But if you started with a 1 by 3 3/4, that's really all you need. That's going to be for your sentiment. And then the Designer Series paper is 5 by 3 3/4. So that's going to all be layered. And then you will also need a piece of fresh freesia 4 by 4. I've already die cut this for you. This is just cut with one of the dies, as you can see, from the paper. And that just creates that nice intricate layer. So there. And then you'll need a couple of pieces of black and white. One will be 4.25 by 3.5, and the other will be 5 by 3.5 at minimum. You're going to do some die cutting with those. And then the a little bit piece of Blackberry Bliss. So this will just be a little scrap, and you can see that that's the body of the butterfly. And then you'll have in your packet, you'll have some ribbon and some bling. So I'll show you how to put all that together. Okay, so let's get started with the card base. So we are going to be doing some die cutting here. The first thing I'm going to die cut is the card base, and the set comes with this die. I don't know if you can see. This die has like a little score line on either side up at the top. There, I think you can see that there. And I'm gonna line up that score line with the top of the folded paper. Let me score that one more time. So that's good and creased. And you can see that I use this tape to hold it down. So I'm lining up the score line and I'm lining it right to left. I'm looking to make sure it's fairly even there. I want that score line to be above the fold. And then I'm gonna open it up and I'm gonna run it through my cut and emboss machine like this. So I'm gonna bring the cut and emboss machine here and just use the standard sandwich, the base plate, plate number 2, and 2 cutting plates. So I open, make sure your cardstock is open. And I'm just gonna go ahead and run that through. Okay. We will be doing more die cutting, but I'm gonna show this to you first. Bring that back. Okay, so what you end up with is, let's see as I take this off, this piece just comes out and then you can see there's that fold. So then all you have to do is come along here and trim right there. So you're gonna trim that excess away. And certainly you might be able to use something with that. But so that's the base. Nice and easy. Stampin' Up just created these dies for us. So as you can see here, there is no cutting here. This is just that little dash that shows you where you're gonna line things up. The cutting part is along the sides and then in the middle. So that's what gives you that great fun fold there. Okay, so that's the first part. And then as I told you, I've already die cut this part. The second part of this is die cutting the with the embossing folder. So I'll bring in the embossing folder. Here it is. This is the Hybrid Butterflies embossing folder, and you can just use it as it is, the standard embossing folder, and get this fun butterfly background image. But it also comes with a die that fits inside the folder, so it'll cut and it'll die cut and emboss at the same time. So it just kind of fits right in there like a little nest, okay? So what I like to do is I go ahead and put that in just like that. Then I'm gonna put my piece of cardstock in there. And this is the front. Let me show you that one more time. So this is the front of the folder. It's got the Stampin' Up logo on it. I open it and I put the cutting blade up, slide that in. The cutting blade is facing me, facing the paper. And then I just basically have to make sure I don't see the cutting blade anywhere around the paper, right? It just fits in like that. Then I'm gonna close it, move it aside so I can bring in my Stamp Cut Emboss machine. Now this is a 3D hybrid embossing folder. So it shows on my plate that you're gonna use the plate number 1 and plate number 4. So I bring in plate number 1, the base plate, lay it down, pick up my embossing folder. I like to turn it over. I can see that it's all lined up properly. The folded edge, the hinge edge always goes in first. And I'm just gonna cover it up, make sure it's all in there together and run it through. And there I have my butterfly. So isn't that fun? And there's the embossed image there. All right. That's number 2. Now we're gonna do I need another sheet of basic white, and we're gonna create the inside. I'm gonna bring that hinged piece in again. And I'm gonna get, where's my white? Here it is. Get another piece of white paper. And I'm gonna line this one up a little bit above the hinge. So you can see I got a little bit of space there, and I'll explain why I do it that way. And it doesn't really matter where on the paper this is, because we're gonna just cut this out. So I'll move it over to the side so that I have a little strip that I can still use for something else. So I'm just trying to get it fairly level. Nope. Doesn't want to stay for me. I'm trying to do this so that you can see. There we go. Here, I think you can see that, so that there's some space, that it's somewhat level. And now I'm going to bring in my cut and emboss machine again. This is just a standard die cut, so I use my standard sandwich, plate number 1, the die cutting plate number 2, plate number 3, and then my dies with the paper. Make sure that it's all still located where I want it, and then run this one through. Now again, if you've ordered the kit, the die cutting will be done for you, but you have to do your own stamping. That's a Stampin' Up policy. I'm not allowed to stamp any images for you, but I can do the die cuts. So there we go. Those are all the die cuts and all the layers for my card. All right. Okay, so oh, no, there is one other thing. Here's the die. I already die cut this one, but this is the die for the body. So you'll want to cut one of these out of a scrap of Blackberry Bliss. And then that's all you need. So let's just do this a little bit of stamping. So I'm gonna set this aside. We'll do our stamping because we do have one more piece to die cut. That's our sentiment. So I'm gonna bring in, I'm using Blackberry Bliss to do, nope, actually, Blackberry Bliss for the happy birthday. And for the sentiment on the inside. So a couple of the sentiments here I really like. This is happy birthday. And it is a photopolymer, so I do have a pad. This is a pad here. I'm gonna just put this on the center, and then I will die cut that piece. There we go. I got a little blotch there, so you know what? I'm gonna try that again. Let me just clean my stamp off. I'm gonna turn that over. It would probably be okay, but since I have another side, see, I can kind of look and see how it looks. I like the way that looks. Since I have two sides to this, I just as soon try it again. Yeah, I like that one better. And then I will die cut it, and then the interior of the card, I'm gonna, time to celebrate. I love, if you followed me at all, you know, I love the combination of script and printing. I just think it's so elegant and fun. So I'm gonna put that right there. There's not a lot of room to write on this card, but I don't know about you, but sometimes I just don't know what to write. I love to make the cards. Sometimes I have a hard time sending them. That crazy, isn't it? All right, that's it for the stamping. Well, no, it's not. It's not. I lied, sorry. There is one more thing that I stamped. I am gonna bring in a piece of scrap paper. So this is maybe not super necessary, but I thought it was kind of fun. So I'm gonna bring in Petunia Pop. That's the color of this cardstock, is Petunia Pop. And this stamp set has some accents for the wings. I guess it doesn't really matter, but I'm gonna stamp off, and I want a little bit of definition to show. So I'm gonna go right close to the edge. There we go. It's very light. It's gonna be very subtle, but I think it adds nice dimension. And I'm gonna go, again, very close, because some of this is gonna be covered up. You won't see it. All right, so that's the wing. And then there's this little kind of speckled splatter, I don't know, dots. But again, I'm gonna stamp off, and I wanna just create some interest around the edges of the wings. So, there. Make sure to stamp off. So I'm going to show you. So this layer is going to be set here. So you will see a little bit. So maybe I'll do a little bit of stamping here, but you see how you're only going to see the very outer edges. So that's why I was really trying to get the stamping along the outside. There. And you know, it's probably only the most observant receiver that would notice this, but we all have those friends that are very observant and seem to notice everything. Right? All right, so that's the stamping. I have one more piece to die cut. So that is this happy birthday. So one of the things that I'm going to show you is how to do a partial die cut. You certainly could make it full and it would be fine, but it's a little bit longer than I really need. So I'm going to take this opportunity to show you how to do a partial die cut. Basically, all I'm going to do is I'm going to line this up. I'm going to take one of those little pieces of the blue tape. I'll line it up, make sure it's straight, right? But you can see how I've got it a lot closer on the right than on the left. And I'm only going to run this through halfway because I don't, well, I really could run it through the whole way at this point, but I'll run it through and then come back. Okay, because it runs off, you could run it through the whole way, but because I want to make sure that you see how to do this, I'm going to only run it through halfway. So now I'm going to take, this will kind of lock in place, and I'm only going to go through partially the other way. So I'm feeling for it to see where so it's all going to be all lined up. You see that? I'm going to make sure that I don't cut anything else off. It's about the same distance side to side. Run that through, and then I'm only going to run that through halfway. And let's see if I got it to work. Yes. There you go. So I thought that I liked it a little bit shorter. So that's a way, if your die is too long, or even too short, you can adjust it. You can adjust it by the length. Okay, so now we are ready to assemble our card. So let's go ahead and assemble the inside first. And this is pretty straightforward. We're just layering our pieces. You can use whatever, if you're a green glue person or if you like Stampin' Seal, whatever you want to do, whatever you're most comfortable with works beautifully on this card. So do that. There we go. Love, love, love the colors on this card. All right. So now here's another little secret. So this is going to go in here, right? But I want it to line up so that you can't see it underneath. Oh, I forgot one more thing I need to do. I'm going to trim off the head of, I'm going to cut his head off. But don't be upset because no butterflies are actually going to be harmed in this process. It's going to be covered. It is a little tricky. I'm going to be kind of coming in, cut a little bit, and I'm just going to kind of keep going. There we go. Side to side. To cut off his head, but he's going to be covered up. All right. So I want to do the inside. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to So this is the way I want it, correct? You see that? I'm going to turn it upside down, and I'm going to apply my adhesive, whatever adhesive you're comfortable with. All right, I'm lining it up so that I don't see any of the petunia pop behind it. As close as I can. Okay. Right? No, see, I see it there. It's a little tricky. And now I'm going to take the card base and fold it over. And there we go. So you can see, you don't actually see any of the white around it. If you do, you can kind of wiggle it around a little bit. But you can see this is why I wanted to cut it a little bit short so that it would still fold. If it was pushed all the way up to the top, well, two things. One, it would be kind of bulky up here. But the other part would be that, so the bulk would kind of make it difficult to fold. But I also just didn't want it to be too thick up here. All right, so now you can see our butterfly has a head again because the white one's shining underneath it. So now we're gonna add the rest of our layers. So this guy is too short. So that's an easy fix. We're just gonna cut his body in half. All right, and now I'm gonna add a little adhesive to his tail. Just a little. And I just want to layer that right in there. All right. It's all going to be covered up. Come on. Come down just a little bit. All right. And then the same thing here. Make sure I have the right side up. I'm going to hold it at the neck and put a little bit of adhesive very lightly because you don't want it gooping out everywhere. Oh shoot, I didn't want to put it on the head. Sorry. Get rid of that. Because remember I cut off that head, so now I don't want it on the head. All right, I'll come back with that. I'm going to line up the neck right at where the neck should be on the petunia pop. And let's see, I also want it to be kind of centered. All right, now, because I put some adhesive on there, I'm gonna use my, let's see, I have a couple of options. Let's see first. Well, what did I do with my adhesive remover? There he is. I have to be careful here because I don't want to tear him. Let's see if I can get that off. But another option is to use your the powder from, you know, when you do heat embossing, you can use a little bit of that powder to dry that so that it doesn't stick. And then I'll come back later with my my adhesive remover and take that off. But just for now, I want to make sure that that doesn't stick together. Okay. See, it's good to learn, have new ideas, right? Learn to fix messes. I make lots of mistakes and messes, so I'm happy to show you some recovery methods. Okay, so now the next layer I'm going to add is this embossed butterfly, and I'm going to pop him up on dimensionals. Him, her, I don't know why I think it's a male butterfly. Now my fingers are a little sticky, so it's sticking. I think that's going to be good. So, take off that. I hope you like this. And you know, if you're ever in the Greensboro, Georgia area, I'd love for you to come to one of my classes. I hold them once a month, and we have a lot of fun. Oh, you know what? I need to cut this guy too. so that you can see the other. So I'm going to just trim that off. If you can't make it in person, I also sell my classes as kits to go. So you can purchase those on my, if you get my newsletter, I'll have the link to purchase the classes. I also post the classes on my Facebook page, so you can follow along there and you'll get information on when each class is available and all the details about what that class includes. There we go. So that's that next layer. And then for this layer, I'm only going to put some adhesive on the center, on the body. I want those wings to kind of be free. I'm going to very gently lift them up. You can see I'm just using my fingers because it's pretty delicate. So just to give it a little bit of lift. And then I'm going to put this in the center, and I just need to make sure that it doesn't, well, I'm trying to just line it up so that you can see the white all the way around it. Okay, we're almost done. Okay, so this ribbon, this is this shimmer mesh ribbon. It's gold striped mesh ribbon. See how pretty that is? I thought it was really kind of gossamer, like a butterfly's wings, but it was too wide for what I wanted to do. I felt like it was going to overwhelm the space. So I cut it in half. And, it's probably, 12 inches or so. I'm going to take my happy birthday, and I am going to put a little bit of seal or some kind of adhesive in the middle so that I can attach the ribbon to it. And basically, I'm going to fold this ribbon and create kind of a faux bow, right? Just kind of hold it together. Let's see, how big do I want it? I think about like that. Just kind of tucking it in, and I can make adjustments once it's on the back of my card. But for now, at least it gives me an idea. Oh my God, I'm all kind of all thumbs here. And I want it to be kind of on an angle about in the middle. There we go. So I kind of put it down. And then, as I said, I can make some adjustments if I need to. Like, I feel like that loop is maybe a little too big. So that's this one. Am I in the camera? Yeah. Let's see. Still too big, I think. Bring that over. Okay. There. And then I can always cut the ends. Let's see, is that, I still feel like it's too big. Let's cut it down some more. It's always easier to make it a little bit smaller than to make it larger, right? And then you cut it too small and then you need to make it bigger. Okay. There we go. And I'll trim off my edges. A little bit like that on each side. And now I'm going to use dimensionals on the outside, on the two sides. Now this ribbon doesn't really have a lot of bulk, so it's probably not an issue, but do make sure that it's sticking well. How do I want that? I think I want it up here a little bit. Okay, there we go. Okay, there's our butterfly. And then the last thing I did was use the brushed brass butterflies. And I think these are still available in the online store. Let me bring in my take your pick tool. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're still available in the online store. If not, well, I hope you got them before they retired. I meant to look that up before I came on here, but sorry. I just love these brass butterflies. And of course it keeps in with our theme. So there you go. I hope you like that. If you do, give me a thumbs up. It helps other people find me. If you want to be notified when I create other images or create other videos, go ahead and give me a follow. And one other thing here, I'll show you here. So I did a stamp on the envelope. This is the giant stamp here, and I stamped off twice to get this light image. There's the, here, I'll show you. Show you how to do that. I do need to stamp off, so I'm going to bring this guy back in. And I did use Petunia Pop. And because this stamp is larger than the ink pad, I find it easiest to kind of do it this way, to lay the stamp down, lay the stamp down, and then turn it over. And I wanted it really light, so I'm going to do it twice, and then I'm going to bring in, it's going to be really light. And then just kind of do that. There we go. Just a very faint image there. You can easily write over it. It won't be a problem for the postal service, or of course if you hand deliver it. So there you go. That one and that one. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you find some time to do something crafty every day, or at least a couple times a week. Bye for now.